All right, my darling. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Yay! For those of you that don't know, this is my darling friend, Jen. We have connected through among communities, and I feel like have continued to connect through just really beautiful, intimate conversations and have had this undertone of not only healing, but like just sharing beautiful life experiences together that I think are really important and really potent, and you've been a huge part of my healing journey, and your medicine has been a huge part of my healing journey. And what I mean by that is your herbs and the things that you create with your hands so intentionally and so beautifully. So what I want to do is just talk with you about, we'll start with your origin story. We'll start with where you've come from and the industry that you've been in, and then maybe how that progressed to where you are now in the creation of your herbs and things like that. So if you want to start there, we'd love to know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And I was trying to remember when we first met. Was it a dance class?
Yeah. Shaking that ass.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this young one has some energy that I must get more of. So thank you for sharing your energy with me always. And then we've just grown to be like so close, soul sister level, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, origin stories. So I grew up in West Texas in the desert, in a family that had Western medicine practitioners, nurses. Mom's a nurse, grandma's a nurse. I was always meant to be in the medical field, and I kind of knew that from a really young age. But also like growing up where there wasn't a lot of beautiful nature surrounding us, right? Of course there's nature. The desert is full of life. But you know, I didn't grow up outside in the forest or in gardens or anything like that. So I learned about healing and medicine through a Western lens, and always kind of knew I would get into that field. And the more I learned about, like, should I go into nursing, or should I be a doctor, should I be whatever, what I really felt like was the most important thing for me was that I was a healthcare professional that was accessible to anyone who needed help. So, like, the way our system's built, right, not everyone has access to go to a primary care physician, a OBGYN, a specialist, not even, right? Yeah. And I wanted to be able to be public-facing, have anyone walk up to my counter. Obviously, I became a pharmacist.
Yeah. Plot twist.
Spoiler alert. So I wanted anyone to be able to come up to the counter and to have the knowledge and the ability and the time to really sit with people, hear them out, and give some sound advice. Yeah. Really that's why I chose to get into pharmacy to begin with. Yeah. So I did that. Yeah. A lot of school. Yeah. I was very young. I chose this very young, and I was a pharmacist by the time I was like 22.
Damn, girl.
I
go
know,
ahead.
right? Okay.
Yeah, little baby.
Are you serious?
Yes. And so I was a math and science nerd. Like, I went to college 2 years early. Yeah. I just was really into school. Yeah. I'm really into learning.
Go off, girly.
This is gonna feed into everything else. Yeah. But like, I'm always got my nose in a book and down a rabbit hole about some information, gathering information. And then what I like to think of myself as is a gatherer of information, an alchemizer, a translator into language people can understand. And I feel like pharmacy as a job kind of fit that role for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how long were you in that position?
So I was a long-time chain pharmacist. I won't mention any names, but 15 years in that world. And then after that, I got what I called a unicorn pharmacist job, which was working in the health insurance industry. Okay. Which was obviously not aligned with like being public facing, being available. But what I was doing was learning how the systems work so that I can make change from within, right? So I worked for a health plan that had all of the foster care kids in Texas on their plan. Yeah. I made sure that these kiddos had like safety measures in place for when they were moving placements or homes to make sure that they had their medicines, that they weren't being added on extra medicines they don't need, right?
Right.
And then making sure that gender-affirming care was available to children in Texas.
Yep.
That was a big thing that I worked on. And of course, legislation caught up to that, and all that work is undone.
Yeah.
But we have to continue to work from inside the systems, right? So,
absolutely. I just think you've had such a important role in so many things that, number one, I just like knew nothing about. You've enlightened me on so many just like important topics, and also just like you said, the way that you retain information but then can just like so lovingly support someone with it, even if it feels like it's a lot, you know, because especially when it comes to our health and the things that we're up against, it can feel that that's a weighted experience for a lot of people. So for you to be able to have this like really gentle and also thoughtful lens to say, hey, this is where we're at right now. These are the things and options available. And I would also love for you to be able to kind of tie what that experience was and how you've kind of bridged the industry into where the herbs started coming in for you. Like, what was that like, even like sparkle of, oh, wait, there's something else. When did that start and how?
I don't know, but someone asked me a similar question recently. I think I was talking about like witchcraft and different things that we do in our lives that feel magical. Like, and they were like, when did that start for you? What was the first thing? And it's along the same lines, right? Yeah. It's like, I can't remember, because ever since I was like little, first memories, making potions in the bathtub, right? Yeah. Talking to trees. I had a journal that I had a conversation with an oak tree in my front yard growing up.
I love
my
this,
mom
Jen.
talks about it. I've always been talking to trees. Yeah. Every day.
There's wisdom in those trees, baby. You knew.
We don't even know all the wisdom of the trees. Yeah. So
it's incredible.
I think that it started somewhere. I think we were just born with it, right? Some of us choose to listen, and some of us don't quite get there. Yeah.
Or it feels like it's either beaten out of us. Like, oh no, that's not something that like this system and society tells us, and all of those things. So for a long time, I feel like we tend to get to a place where we ignore it, you know? And then there's those sort of awakening moments or transformative moments where we come back and we say, wait a second, that actually feels more in alignment than what my body feels right now in stress, worry, fear, all of these different aspects of what we're up against a lot of times, not only in our work, but just as women too, you know? So yeah, I would love to know, just as far as this has continued for you, because when we connected, I mean, almost immediately it felt like you had so much information about herbs, the medicinal properties of them. We were literally like at Casa de Luz, and you're picking up these plants and you're like, eat this. And I'm like, full trust, Jen. Yes, absolutely. I'm just yum, yum, yum.
Garden candy.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, garden candy, love it. So like, as you started exploring that, was that like a class, or was it like a connection that you had to somebody being like, oh, this is something you should look into because this feels like up your alley?
As many beautiful things in my life has started. Yeah. Do you know what it was? It was the Buy Nothing community.
Oh my gosh. No.
People around me know I talk about the Buy Nothing community all the time. Yeah. I feel it is so important to build these systems of neighbors and community, and also to decentralize supporting capitalism, buying new things for everything. Yep. So the Buy Nothing community, for everyone listening, please get on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, get on there just for Buy Nothing. I go straight to Buy Nothing. Yep. I do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yes.
I go straight to my group. Yep. It's people giving away things they don't need to their neighbors and asking for things that they need from their neighbors freely. Everything is free. Yep. So I met somebody off my Buy Nothing group who needed to borrow a blood pressure monitor. I went over to their house. Wow. I taught them how to take their blood pressure and talked to them about the normal levels and what might be affecting it. And anyway, this person was like, what's your relationship to plant medicine? Because they knew I was a pharmacist. Yeah. And then they told me about Sacred Journey School of Herbalism, which is where I ended up going to school to learn most of the plant medicine things I know. And I enrolled almost immediately into a local herbalist class called Kitchen Witchery. Her name's Lauren Peterson.
Wow.
And then with my other main mentor, Ginger Webb, who that person from my Buy Nothing group knew very well.
Wow.
So
oh my gosh.
it was a fated meeting from my community. That lit me up. I took the class immediately. I was obsessed with unlearning things, relearning new things, reconnecting to the world around me in a new way, and building community in this way.
Wow.
I know.
Dude. I didn't hear, this is new information to me, y'all. Like, I'm blown away because, again, like, we talk so much about, I mean, even in just our community, right? The things and the resources that we can share and all of that, but just to, like, know where this came from for you as just like a little, this person just dropped in, and the way that has continued to unravel, you know, because you've gone so far down that rabbit hole and have gone into even more classrooms and worked with other people, and the way that that's just continued to also impact me with my healing and all of that. So I just want to say thank you for doing and listening to the call, because, again, like, sometimes I could just be like, oh, cool, I'm still doing this. This is what's making me money right now, or whatever. And it's like, for anybody listening, being able to say, like, if there is something that feels like it is pulling you, listen. You know, like, listen to that in whatever way, to be able to say, like, okay, cool, like, even if it's not right now, maybe you don't have the finances right now to do the thing, but just, like, keep it in your back pocket until a point where you can kind of walk that path. Because for me, it's been very fruitful to know the things that you know in the way that I know them because of how you've explained things to me. And I think that's incredible. So yeah, I just am, like, super excited to even talk about the things that you've created, because you have used your gifts not only as just a beautiful healer, but your brain, the things that have come together, I'm just, like, mind blown half the time. I'm like, Jen, you could repeat this 85 times to me, and I'm like, tell me again. But the way that you infuse so much love and tenderness and care and all of that into each and everything that you create has just been so beautiful. So I know that you've had, obviously different levels of schooling, but I think there's also this really potent conversation that needs to come to light as well, because there was a conference that you mentioned at one point, and I would love for you to speak to that and what happened there.
Yeah, so all of my herby friends, we call them, go to this medicine conference every summer. It's called the Good Medicine Confluence. And it's just a gathering of herbalists from all over the country, and it's like 4 days of just class after class after class. It's my happy place, right? I'm just eating up information everywhere with like-minded folks. And the second year I went to that confluence, I met somebody who works in the womb continuum space. Her name's Samantha Zapora, and she's been a big mentor in my life. But essentially what I learned in this 1 hour class with her was this unraveling of everything that I thought that I knew about menstrual cycle health, contraception, and hormone balance. And as someone who had been to school, I have a doctorate degree in a medical field. And I had no idea what actually oral contraception was doing to our bodies. And what the menstrual cycle was about and for. As an accessible healthcare professional, I became enraged that I did not have this information. This is ancestral wisdom. This is knowledge we should be taught in schools. And I just became very urgently passionate about learning as much as I could about that. And it changed the trajectory of where my herbalism would go, where I went in my own personal life, and everything else.
Yeah, I think, because what year was that?
That had to be 2023.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, it was, because we were sitting in a container anyways, and you would come back, and I just was like, there is a new energy that has come with the information that you, and you're like, I'm gonna dive into this. I'm gonna keep you posted, but I'm gonna dive into this, and I'm really gonna start bringing some things to light. So I think just around what you've created because, you know, I want to get into the way that you've used your hands to craft what the community needs, right? And I want you to talk a little bit about like what you are learning there and then what you've been able to create since sort of walking that path.
Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I did when I got home from that conference was to get my IUD removed.
Yeah.
I had a Marina IUD for decades.
Yeah.
And essentially had shut down my body's own natural hormone system, right? For that long. I immediately removed it, and I knew I had plant allies to lean on to help my body regulate my hormonal cycle, my menstrual cycle. And so I crafted elixirs for my own body that I would eventually use to help a lot of other bodies. So I was on that journey. I was telling everybody.
Yes, you very well.
And essentially, it's really come down to making medicine for myself, but also for the people around me and what they're needing at the time. It became apparent, if you bring it up to female-bodied folks, they will tell you nobody's hormonal cycle is really on their conscious mind.
Right.
And, you know, some people's are, but a lot of the time it's just something that we have been taught to, like, put it in your back pocket when you're at work. Like, leave that at home. Don't talk about it. Nobody wants to hear about it. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything else except for your own business, but it's just simply not true.
No, and I think the more we talk about it, like I think coming into the community that we were with the dance community, there were people in that space that really was lit me up about like, oh, like they're really comfortable talking about these things, and I've felt a lot of shame around these things, right? Just how I grew up. And to be around people that, number one, especially as you were going through this education and now healing yourself from within with these different plants and learning and watching it, I was just like, wow, like this is, and I obviously through the business that I had, I was going herbal based off scalp care, based off me being, you know, very sensitive to toxic chemicals. So you were talking about something internal. I'm looking at things as an external and being like, well, I know how beneficial it's been for me to use more like plant related things on my body, on my scalp, on anything, right? And then for you to have these medicinal properties plant internally, and then when it comes to just like our sacred womb, like literally just coming back to that space, honoring that space, empowering that space, continuing conversation around that space, it's huge, you know. And I think that's part of, you know, why I wanted to have this conversation with you too, is because we've had so many connected conversations in our little intimate groups, but it's like this needs to be more widely known. This needs to be a conversation that's blown the doors off of, because people don't know where to go, you know. And you have both sides. You have the, you know, pharmacy side of things, you know, going through medical training in that way, but then additionally being like, well, this is how you can marry, and also the benefits that you've seen on this side too. So I think it's incredibly powerful. What are some things that you have, we'll say like crafted for the community that you were like, ooh, like just things that inspired you that were like, oh, I hear this in what maybe your like symptoms or things that you're experiencing are, and what you've been able to craft from that?
Yeah, so I mean, the basics of the first things I started making for the community were immune supports, like fire cider and elderberry syrup, these like ancient remedies we have to protect ourselves against respiratory viruses. And so I was making that for my community. And, you know, I had people be like, oh, well, do you have anything for sleep? Do you have anything for pain? Do you have anything to help me be less anxious? Whatever my friends or my community was asking for is the direction that I would go next. And just creating these beautiful elixirs that were supportive to individuals, but also the collective is always in the same energy, right? Oh yeah. And I think the way that you create them too, because like when you get your hands on these incredible elixirs or herbs of Jen's, like it is labeled that like she made this either under a full moon, a new moon, what the date was, and again the intentionality behind that, but the love that's infused into it, and the herbs that are in there too to support it. Just like, again, even with what we're drinking, like this beautiful, we gotta name it, because this bad boy you gave me for Christmas, and
it's not far past Christmas yet. It's the 11th of January right now. And I've already made it through an entire one of these just because it felt like tea is one thing, you know? I love tea. Tea is my friend, right? But it was support that I was like, wow, this really feels like love. This feels like a hug in this beautiful little mug. And I just was like, Jen. So you truly have created so much magic, but also like so much love infused into your products. And I want you to talk a little bit about this one specifically, just because it was kind of a spin-off of what you were making with your fire cider, right? And then what was kind of left over. So talk a little bit about that, Babby.
Right. So this fire cider batch, I started on the full moon in Aries. There's no better time to start a batch of fire cider, y'all. It's big. It's fiery. It's right when the season's coming up. You're about to get sick all the time. And so then when I waited till the next full moon to strain it and bottle it, what's left over is usually composted, and that's fine. That's going to be reused again. But really, I'm focusing on utilizing everything to its last drop and getting this medicine. And what was left over was kind of like, use me. So I'm listening to these plants, right? And I'm like, okay. So Lauren, my herbalist friend, she had a recipe that she had put up on a website, Mountain Rose Herbs, for the fire cider bouillon powder to use this leftover to make more medicine. So I'm just trying to embrace this no waste, this listening to the medicine to say, hey, I have more to offer. What's left over is this pungent roots. It's horseradish, it's onion, it's garlic, it's ginger, and it still smells so strong, and it's still medicine. So this was just like a project of not wasting, and also to make something that I knew would taste really good. And when I made it and I tried it, I was like, oh, wow. This tastes like somebody cared enough about me to make sure I'm going to be well.
It really does. It really does. And that's what we're drinking now. We're featuring this as we're going through this beautiful podcast because, again, it's just like, and it just feels so healing from not only, yes, your aspects energetically, but just like sitting in your system. You're like, okay, cozy. And it's warm. So we just love that, you know? And I think just, we're going to say something. Okay. I was like, did you want to speak to something else? The other piece is that, you know, of course, like receiving that not only as a gift, but the other medicinal things that you've made for me as I've gone through different experiences, like you were talking to anxiety, this, that, like you had an incredible tincture that you made me that was called Stress Ball. And it was just like the ability to be able to like take something at the end of the night or in the beginning of my day. I would take it, I think, for a little while there when I started it was like every day I was just taking it once a day when I could, right? And the way that I was just being able to like connect to something that allowed me to say like, this is going to help me slow down. This is going to help me like just really sit in my body in a time and culture that tells us to like move at a fast pace. And that was so helpful to just have like a tangible thing that I knew that you were also crafting for not just me, but other people that was like, yeah, I'm gonna need that.
That is really beautifully said, and also reminds me to talk about like the difference in shifting our perspective and taking a pharmaceutical to fix something versus developing a relationship with plant medicine. Okay, these plants are sentient beings. We are often walking through the world forgetting that we're in mouth-to-mouth resuscitation with the plants around us, and that these plants are going to be here long after we're gone. They were here way before us. They are full of knowledge and wisdom, and also they are full of chemicals, biomedical properties that are helpful to humans. For example, this is crazy, okay? So
let's hear it, girl. Let's hear it.
I'm going to give y'all some science nerd stuff, okay? First of all, like 80% of the world uses herbal medicine. Here in the United States, that seems hard to believe, but that's the truth of the matter.
Right.
Almost half of the drugs behind the pharmacy counter, they're copycats of what plants are doing.
Thank you for saying that, yes.
For example, let's talk about like when you have high blood pressure, one of the things they may give you is a diuretic, a water pill, right? To drain extra fluids off to lower your blood pressure. Dandelion, a weed in your front yard, is a beautiful diuretic.
Yep.
And one of the things that happens when you take a pill diuretic is it depletes your body of minerals, specifically potassium. It's one of the big problems.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Dandelion happens to have a lot of it in the leaves.
Potassium,
girl. They're smart. They are
Yeah.
whole medicines.
And what are we taught? We're taught to kill that. It's a weed.
It's a weed. Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, where am I going with this?
No, it's okay. No, it's a beautiful, like you speaking to that, it's like, I'm so glad you did, because it's a point that I wanted to bring in, because when it was spoken out loud to me, because again, my mom's in the medical system, right? So when it was spoken to me that it was like, this is how you take care of yourself, and then I start like going against the grain with being like, what is against the grain? It's like, where did all this come from anyways? Where did these copycats come from? The plants. It's always been the plants, you know? And to be able to say that there is a place for both, to support both.
Right.
But if you can lean onto something that may feel more holistic and sustainable for your lifestyle because of, price of things, I think that's also another lens too, you know? What you've been able to offer the community is so like thoughtfully priced to say like, oh, I can invest in this and I can have this for 30 days and this isn't this gives me the ability to take care of myself in a way that I really need, but maybe a mental health professional or someone else has told me that I need this medicine and it's a couple $100 a month and you're going to be on it for life. And it's like, oh, like that can be really shocking to people's systems. So like knowing that we're touching someone out there this could be the first part of the conversation for them to say like, oh, I could look at something differently and I could connect with you. And
unless we not forget the Western medicine system is not a healing modality. It is a business.
Right.
Which is why it costs so much money.
Yep.
And working with the plants, I mean, that's kind of why they haven't taken off in our society, right?
Yeah.
Is nobody can make big money off of selling you some dandelions.
Right.
Like, why would we do that?
Yeah. Which is why I always like to be like, we pull in those dollars back into resources, which is why this is part of a bigger conversation, which is, you know, why I wanted to do this in the first place. Like, I want to highlight and spotlight people that are really working in their genius and in their like their lived experience of both, right? But also you being able to craft so beautifully these herbs and direct people in a way that feels so healing, and we're pulling those dollars back into people that really I feel like I want to build up, right? Because it's like, let's grow the growing businesses. Let's really just start, let's release all the money that we're putting out into these more capitalistic structures and start being like, okay, well, if I could pull $20 over here and send this to Jen because she can help me, you know, and that feels like a really tangible thing and a tangible step for people, especially in the affordable wellness space, which is what we're going to get into. Huge conversation, because so much of this costs so much money, you know, and for so many people it's like, okay, well then I'm going to sit here and struggle with my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health, my any sort of health, because I can't afford to be here. I can't afford to do this. And you are giving people resources and information. And even if it's not you that is crafting the thing, you have so many people that you're connected to be able to say like, hey, here's this free thing. Here's this free opportunity. Here's start with tea. You know what I mean? Like whatever feels good for them. So I just think that this conversation is going to continue, which will be incredible. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for lighting this side of the industry, because we need it. You know, it's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about what we are. First off, thank you for being a part of the Austin Affordable Wellness Guide. I'm like so excited to just like honor a space for your products. But I want to make it really clear for those that are listening, but those that are also like new to exploring this side of things too. What are you offering right now so that people know, you know, because it's like, oh, can I work with this person, or how does this go? I think it's just really important for people to know where you're at right now. So what's up?
Well, you're welcome, and thank you, because I've always gotten your energy as a cheerleader of your friends, right? And this is exactly what you're doing. You're like, I see you with a megaphone and you're like, look at my friends, how beautiful their work is and what they're doing in the world. And you're doing that in this beautiful way, sharing with your community. So we love that you exist and your energy. We need it so much because I am really averse to putting myself on the internet or trying to sell myself, right? Yeah. I do want people to know that I have this beautiful medicine. Yeah. And so we need people like you who are telling other people about it. So thank you. Yeah. So I do have a regular pharmacist job nowadays because we're in the systems that we're in, okay? Yeah. But Potter-Apothecary is my shop. Okay, where you can buy the products that I have in stock, and I'm continually restocking and making things as the community calls for. Cool. So that's how you can work with me directly. And then our beautiful friend Sonia Benjamin, whose business is This Body is a Portal. Yeah. I collaborate with her. Amazing. And I see her clients that sign up for her Sacred Body Alchemy journey. Yes. If they want an add-on consultation with me to have plant medicine support through that journey, that has been a beautiful thing to be a part of and to support these people in this way. Also, Sonia and I just have this beautiful language of like translating people's energetic needs into a plant medicine elixir. Yeah. Yeah. It's language powerful. That we've discovered on our own. Yeah, it's beautiful because, I mean, even our other common friend, Mia, who has also gone through the Sacred Body Alchemy journey, was sharing a experience through what she was going through with Sonia, but then also what you were able to do with her and her plant medicine / the supplements that you were working with and things like that. And I think just the ability to go into that lens a little bit, like I know is that something that you are doing for every one of those people that are going through Sacred Body Alchemy, or is it like, oh, that was like a friend thing, one-off? Because I'm like, that was like a really magical experience that I heard about, and I think people need to know about it, because it's a way of reading the body that's so powerful that I was like, what's Jen doing? So I'd love for you to talk about that if you're open to it. Yeah. So of course, where a lot of beautiful things start, it's with your friends, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was like a trial run, and it went so well. Yeah. But that is a service you can add on to your Sacred Body Alchemy journey. Anyone can add that on to get a herbal consult with me. Okay. The beautiful thing I'm finding about working with people in that space is that they'll often come to me thinking, okay, she's a pharmacist, she's an herbalist, she's going to write me a prescription for wealth and health and health, and I'm going to take these things and I'm going to feel better. Yeah. And what it really comes down to is just sitting with these people and helping guide them to their own inner wisdom. Yeah. Yep. And it's not me that's doing it. It's them, and it's also the plants. Yeah. It's the plant medicines that help bring them back to their inner knowing and their deep wisdom. Yeah. And I think that's just it. It's like you are a guide in a way, you know, and you're listening to that. You're listening to your intuition. You're listening to all of it. It's speaking a little bit louder sometimes than maybe the person that you're sitting with, but then you being able to share that and them being able to take that and walk the path and be like, wow, okay, hold on a second, I am feeling different. Whoa, you know, it's like, again, being able to come back to our body, and it's so powerful. So I think that that's just such a potent piece of what you've been able to offer. And I want you to explain like a little bit about what that piece was with Mia, right? Because like she was speaking about supplements and what was working and what wasn't. So what did you do in order to understand that and tell her like, this for now, this maybe not, so that people understand that piece? It's hard to say what I did, except to drop us into the subtleties of her energetics at the time she started the journey with me. And as we worked together and moved through things, and at the end, I just checked in with her about these same subtleties. Yeah. And so often, once something isn't screaming at us anymore, we don't remember that it was, right? And to just be this mirror for people and say, hey, do you remember 6 weeks ago you told me you were in this state of like survival mode when you got into your car to drive on the road? Is that still happening? Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah. Like, okay, let's just have a moment then. Let's celebrate that. Right. Yeah. So just being that mirror for people, helping people get quiet enough to listen to the subtle changes that happen when we slow down. Yeah.
I mean, that is such a common thread through all of these conversations is resting, slowing down, and being intentional about the movement that we make within either the industries that we are in or the community that we are sitting with, right? And I think that's so powerful, because it's like, maybe we're having a moment ourselves. Of course I spiral out, you know, there's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then it's just that reminder from you or Sonia or whoever's in my community to be like, hey, maybe it's time to put it down for right now, and then come back to it.
It's also really shifting the perspective of, instead of reacting to your body's messages, it's listening to your body, learning its language, and taking a gentle, compassionate approach with yourself to respond lovingly. This is something I talk about with everybody who comes to see me, is body literacy, right? It's not a language that we speak when there is something going on with our body and we are in disease or in pain. Your body's just trying to communicate with you, and you're not listening, and so it's getting louder.
It's the pain piece is something that's continued to come up as well, because it's just like, whether you get physically, is a physical ailment, it's this or that. It's like something that I've also learned from Sonia. It was like, well, if something like that comes up, that's when you want to have a hard stopping point to be like, what is actually going on in your environment around you? Because that is your body literally screaming at you to stop and pause. And it's so illuminating when you don't, because then those things can progress in a way that is obviously not supportive. So I just appreciate everything that you have not only shared with me, but what you've done to create this pocket of wellness for people in our community, and how your herbs and the things that you create with your hands are gonna ripple out and affect so many more people. And I'm just so excited. I know, I'm like, don't stay in there because it's really reflecting on even the last 10 years of my life, and even when I was shifting my business, how my illness, right, like getting chronic migraines, getting these rashes, getting all these things, you know, my scalp was scabbing, like all these external things that were happening, but then also internal things that was chronic pain. And I just was like, what is happening? And it was the environment around me, the toxic beauty industry, right? And I had to slowly start bringing these things in, and we hadn't connected yet, right? But when we finally did, it was like that, again, perfect alignment that I was like, oh, this is the next step in my healing. I can bring this in as a one tangible little thing while I'm going in and through a financial crisis at the time that feels doable for me, that feels supportive and full of love. And it's just continued to progress from there. And I just want to say thank you, and I love you, and I appreciate you so deeply for what you're going to continue to create, because this is just the jumping off point. This is the conversation. This is what gets to change the trajectory of the abundance too, you know, and people connecting with you. That feels so magical, and I love it.
Yay. I love you too, babe.
Well, thank you for this conversation, and thank you for what you're offering for affordable care. You know, really, Jen is the only one in my affordable wellness guide right now that is offering products, right? Everybody else is really either service-based, mental health-based, photography, all of that. She is the only one right now as a practitioner that has been close to near and dear to my heart, that I fully trusted to say, let's put your products in here, let's feature them, because people need to know about your story, where this came from, and the love that you continue to infuse in it. So yeah, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yay, thank you. I brought other beanbags for now. We can dance.
Chest rolls, body rolls, hip
I'm
rolls.
like, where did we meet? Oh yeah, performance. She's like, and I also love no music.
We're like trying to do for you.
I'm like, yeah, we got a tiny space, but we can shake that in. I'm like, okay. Give me a hug.
I know, it feels so good.